I think we're live.
All right, we are live. So, what's up, everybody? Ian Walsh, Ryan Walsh, Hard Money Bankers, joined with Lisa Hancock. Lisa, thank you so much for joining us today. Do you guys go by Market Pro Deals or Market Pro Homes?
So our website is Market Pro Deals for the investors, but we go, full name is Market Pro Home Buyers.
Market Pro Home Buyers. So the people watching this will not really, well, maybe, our Delaware market might have heard of you guys, definitely our Maryland market, but the Pennsylvania, New Jersey really have not heard of you guys yet for the most part, but they will. Yeah. So you guys are an absolute enormous wholesaler of properties in the area. I always receive requests for people saying, hey, do you know any wholesaler? Do you know any wholesaler? So everybody watching this video, don't ask me that question anymore. Just call Lisa. But so when I say you guys are a big presence, this is not a backyard wholesaling operation, and that's really what the majority of wholesalers tend to be. And there's nothing wrong with that. I did that's how I got in the business 10 or 12 years ago. I was wholesaling 100 properties a year, and that was back then. It's great. Nowhere near the margins you guys make, and nowhere near the volume that you guys do now. You guys escalated this business from kind of a backyard business, and I have a lot of people that always ask me the question too. Hey, I want to get into wholesaling, but then I want to flip, and then I want to be a landlord. I'm like, look, your end game can easily be wholesaling, and by a long shot. And I think it's a great business model. So you guys, give me some background, Lisa, on, where you guys started, how this went from, instead of being kind of like a one-off wholesaling company, to a full-on operation. So give me some background.
Okay. So we actually started in 2012. Danny Bronstein and Jeanette Winton, owner and partner. Danny came with a construction background, and Jeanette actually came as a successful entrepreneur. So we started flipping houses, and we escalated ourselves to the second largest house flipper in 5 years on the East Coast. So I think starting off with wholesaling, with flipping and taking it to wholesaling, there's so much more that we actually understand about the deals. We're able to really take a good look. We've done 300 scope of works, right? I'm able to sit with an investor and look at the pictures and really go over in detail some things that they may not see, because in actuality, I was almost on every single scope. So, I think by starting off with flipping, it really brought us into an ideal place to start wholesaling. So we flipped for 5 years. We did close to 300 properties. We're very successful and enjoy doing it. But as you guys know, the real estate market, you got to be ready to pivot and change as the world changes. And we used to get all of our properties, not auction or foreclosure. We got them all from real estate agents. So little by little, all those great deals and foreclosures that were sitting in the MLS no longer were there. So we pivoted and we started looking into wholesaling. And we did that in 2017. And kind of funny, I think it was around July, we were like, we'll do 5 to 10. And we had these great goals set. And now we're closing 40 a month. So, I think that background, like you said, having a diverse ways that we've been already in the real estate market really helps us to develop and be able to give the best investment home to our buyers.
Well, let me ask you this. So there's a big jump. So I didn't actually know that you guys started as home flippers. So I like that too. I like how you guys went from flipping to wholesaling, because
it's usually the other way around.
It's usually the other way around, but you guys figured out the secret sauce, which is, the risk is way lower. And you can make the same kind of margins for a fraction of the effort, right? Like, to produce a property over 6 or 8 months, flipping it, but you have to be a well-polished, operation to be able to do that at that level. Yeah. So how did you guys just so quickly take a business scaling from flipping, which was successful before, but how did you take that straight into wholesaling in really a 3-year time span to doing 40 deals a month. Like that is not, that's an incredible number in any marketplace.
So, over the last 3 years, I think we've seen, 20 to 30% growth. And we started off, and we still are, a very tight-knit office. I mean, when we were flipping, I think we had about 6 people. We've just recently hired a separate marketing team, but we're still only about 20 people. We all dive in, we all help, we're all held accountable for what we do. We start every single morning with a meeting, okay? Pretty much everybody on the team. So it is like one for all and all for one. I mean, I think we've always held ourselves up to doing the best we can do. That's a little bit about us on a personal basis. I think just really holding everybody accountable, any questions resolved right away. There's no lingering problems. And we get a deal. We may get in a deal that comes in at 4:00 in the afternoon. Everybody has their part, and that deal is sent out very quickly, usually by 10 or 11 the next day, completely fully marketed, comps, everything completely done. So not only do we have the compatibility and teamwork, but everybody plays their part, right? And it's not just one person that holds up everything. I mean, I really think that, we're like a fine oiled machine. Okay. So that's for that. But as far as bringing us into that next higher market, we do a tremendous amount of marketing. I really firmly probably believe that we do the biggest amount of marketing in the country. We've done bus backs, billboards, TV, mail, any kind of thing. We're always looking and always investigating. We're never stagnant, always reading and looking to do and try new options. I think that has a lot to do with it. We also set goals. I mean, we're kind of held accountable for our goals, which is great. Sometimes it's hard to attain. And at that first beginning of the quarter, you're like, oh boy, this is not going to happen. But you know what? Everybody steps up. We have weekly meetings to report on our goals as a group. And I think, it's really that family tight atmosphere that really helps to fuel all of us, because one person's down, somebody comes up and swoops them up and, helps them to do better the following week.
So I think what I'm hearing is that, you have, which is really hard to find, a really good work environment with really talented people. And you hear that a lot, and it's kind of cliche and like, oh, we got to have a good culture, good this, good that. But I've been involved in multiple businesses along, my 12 years and in real estate, and both good and bad cultures. And when you have that mix of talent and the right culture, it's almost unexplainable unless you're inside that and in that, and you go, oh, this is what people are talking about when they talk about culture. Most people just hear it. But when you're living it and you're in it, it's a significant advantage to the marketplace. And I totally agree with your second statement, which is marketing, because, logistically, when I learned how to wholesale years ago, was like, it took me like 3 months to learn how to wholesale. Like that's all don't spend a lot of time on that. The thing you have to learn how to do is market. And I always tell people, when they say they're getting involved, I say, learn your market and learn to market. Do those two things well, and you'll do pretty well in this business. I don't really know how much you want to share, but I don't know if it matters, but, can you give people an idea of, like, I don't know, how many mailers you would send out, like, so people understand the size and capacity of marketing that you guys do? This isn't a, check Craigslist every day type scenario. This is substantial. So can you dive into any of that, or I
would be happy to share, but my position is disposition. So I'm always selling. I mean, I take a look at, where we market to and the zip codes and everything like that. But as far as the numbers, I wish I had the answer for you. Anybody else was on and, management team, they would be able to, and I'd happy to share, because I think it would speak to the volume of what we're really doing. But I don't have a good answer for you.
It was a bit of a loaded question, because I kind of know a little bit of that answer already. I was just going to let you answer it. I do know that you guys, this is not a scenario for people watching where, this company, your company is doing a couple thousand, mailers a month. This is way more than that. And, people think in this market of like, think big. How big is big, and that, I think the mindset and the concept of what your company has in terms of like, if you were to send out 10,000 mailers in a month, nobody would be making payroll. Where if you send out 10,000 mailers in a month for your average wholesaler around here, that's a lot of mailers. And you go, well, then how many do they have to send out to run an operation like this? A lot more than 10,000 a month. And that's just mailers. So, and then you go, well, how much does that cost? Well, it costs a lot of money, but they're doing 40 deals a month with real spreads. And you guys, you can sit at home and, average your math out in terms of what kind of revenue that is. And that is substantially higher than almost, I know one other individual, another wholesaling company in the Philadelphia space, or two. I know two. Very good. I really, like them. Good friends with one of them. And they also do a very high level of marketing. So there's a big gap though between, an institutionalized wholesaling group and your average wholesaler in terms of marketing. And then add in all the infrastructure and everything else you have there. And that gap is what separates, I'd say your average wholesaler that's doing maybe 10, 20 deals a year to hundreds of deals a year. And that's a gap. So let me see. There's a couple other questions. What can people expect as you guys move into this marketplace? Like you guys dominate in your, in that Maryland marketplace. So like what will people right now, as they're just getting to know your name right now, don't know your name in 6 months. So what can people expect?
Okay. So here's just kind of where we are right now. I think we're really going to be moving into 4 markets. And the counties are Montgomery, Bucks, Chester, and Delaware. What we're looking for is to purchase homes under 500,000. We're looking at middle-class neighborhoods. And our goal is by the spring of 2021, we hope to be selling 15 to 20 a month.
Okay. That's going to be a lot of volume. And then what do you guys, what are your thoughts on the Philadelphia itself? Is there any reason you guys didn't kind of dip into Phil? I'm thinking that you will end up there as you penetrate this market, but any reason you didn't jump in there offhand?
You know what? I think that we have a person who does all of our marketing, and they're actually like a data scientist, right? So I think that they looked at all of the different areas and really picked certain areas, and maybe it was the price point. I'm not exactly sure, where you're looking to have solid buyers who are continuously flipping properties, not actually newbies. I mean, we're looking for a very specific buyer, to buy our deals. So I think that those areas were picked based on who's already doing business in those areas. Like here at home, and, we do some on the outskirts of Baltimore, but we're not really a Baltimore City, investor. We don't go into that area. So some places and some regions you see they're already really well established, and they're tight knit, and sometimes it's hard to penetrate, or you have a specific buyer that only buys in that area. So I think right now maybe it's more targeted to those buyers, and that could be why. But believe me, the sky's the limit with us, and it's going to be testing to see, and some may change, some may come, some may go, and it's really just going to depend on the responses that we get.
I think you're going to like North Jersey when you guys eventually get there. Just based on the market you just told me, I think you're going to like North Jersey.
Yeah.
I'm writing that down.
The numbers that you're talking about are similar to how we look at areas too. Like we'll lend anywhere, but we have certain spots that we, fit our target market, right? So I'm curious. You said under 500,000, though, right? Is there any specific reason why, and if you're okay with sharing that, why under 500?
I think that's just the criteria that we set up. I mean, I sell DC. Here we have a couple of high-end areas: Bethesda, Potomac, Great Falls. I mean, I'm selling 40 deals a month. So I can speak as a disposition. Selling a deal for $200,000 is a lot easier than selling something for $750,000. You have to really have your buyers list set to be able to come up with those actual buyers. Those buyers that I have, what I call, really high-end buyers, because when you're looking at purchasing a property for 500, you've got closing costs, you've got almost a 200 renovation if you're trying to bring it up. You got to have somebody who's got $750,000 to play with. It's not your average investor. But as time goes on, you find those investors. It's not somebody that just drops out of the woodwork, I don't think, And most of those deals, to be honest with you, on this level here, most of those buyers that I have 500 plus don't even go out on my website. Most of them I deal directly with on a one-on-one basis. I know, you've got builders and developers or people that are looking in historic areas, like DC, that, are looking to renovate to be $1 million properties. It's just a different buyer, is my feelings.
100%. Yeah, no, I mean, it is funny how much overlaps between what we're looking at as lenders and what you're trying to do with your market and wholesalers. So totally agree on what you're looking at.
Yeah, I think you guys will find, so I understand the concept of the parallel of like Baltimore City to Philadelphia, and you're kind of lumping it together at the moment, but I think you'll find as you subsection out, just like DC, DC probably has some areas that you don't touch, but there's a lot of beautiful areas in DC. It'll have more of a DC feel than a Baltimore City feel. And I know what you're saying about Baltimore City. You just can't, there's just no inventory there that fits what you guys are trying to go after.
Yes.
And there are definitely areas of Philadelphia that you guys won't touch, but there's definitely, South Philly, Old Kensington, Rittenhouse, those kind of areas are going to be right up your alley. But, it's the abundance mindset. You guys will work your way in there. You're a very dominant, strong company that your presence will be extremely known in this area. So I would say, is there anything you want to leave people with? Anything that you would think about, people should know about you guys? Or at all? Yeah.
So I think I can talk about the website. I think what we've developed as far as the disposition and purchasing properties and things like that, there's a couple things. It's really transparent. It's really easy. And I will say that I've created a VIP program that I think will transfer over to the PA. And right now I'm selling about 60% of my properties to VIP. So I'll get into that, but I'm just going to talk a little bit about the website, because this is actually how a lot of people will be able to find out about us. And it's really the first step. So like we were saying, website is www.marketprodeals.com. It's right now our current website. We've added a drop-down area. So when you're signing up for the website, you'll be able to specify like PA, right? So then we know like Tammy and Marlo are going to be taking over that PA area. So they'll be the ones calling you after you set up your profile. So here's just a little bit of a process. Go onto the website, marketprodeals.com. You'll fill out your profile. What that does is it's really easy. Put in your phone and your email address and the areas that you're interested in. And then it's going to kick you back a profile question, right? So do your best, fill out the profile. It's not that hard. Just says, what you're looking for. Are you looking for fix and flips or buy and holds? What's your target areas, price points, and things like that. Tammy or Marlo, again, will be calling you. I also feel like this is another part of our business where we fully succeed is I know my buyers. I make it a pretty good relationship that I have with the buyers, and I know what they're looking for. It's really reverse wholesaling. So when when that deal comes through on my computer that Danny just got, and it's like, Rittenhouse, 750,000, or it could be a Baltimore, outskirts of Baltimore, Pasadena, 200,000. I already know my buyers who I'm thinking of, right? So I think that this plays a big part in how we take care of our buyers. So fill out the profile. You'll get the profile. Tammy or Marlo will be giving you a call to introduce themselves, tell you about the process, and just kind of vet you. I mean, I think going into this market, we're looking for an exclusive list of buyers, maybe that would really classify as my VIP buyers. We're looking for people that have already, done flips, and we're qualifying them. And that's really who we want to work with. I mean, I think, that's pretty much where we are. Taking those buyers through the process, letting them know how it's going to be. And you also put your offer on the website, right? So it goes by final and best. We're not used car salesmen. I always joke around with my buyers like that. Like, I'm happy to help do due diligence. I believe, if you've got a question and you want me to go through the photos with you, like I said before, I wrote a lot of, scopes, and I can tell, I'm happy to do that. But I really think that people need to spend the most amount of time going through the pictures, going through the video, as you guys said, really knowing your neighborhood. Like, we zone it into neighborhoods, we've got a pretty good idea. And I know that that's going to expand the more that we learn, but really putting your best offer forward and us making that contact. So we can possibly, okay, look, I know that Ryan's interested in this area. He's got this much. He's already vetted. He's working with hard money bankers. And I'm actually just going to give him a call because this deal just came through. I do that all the time. As far as the VIP program, I'll explain a little bit about that. Going into Pennsylvania, I think that maybe these people that have purchased 5 properties and up will probably automatically go into our VIP program. So what that is we get a new deal, we put it out, goes through the marketing process, we look at it, we make any changes, and we send out it's a sign to our marketing team, we're ready to go. So 2 hours before it goes out to the big cash buyers list, it goes out to my VIP buyers. VIP, like I said, they know what they're looking for. We've already vetted them. And most of the time they've done properties already in the neighborhood. So they have a 2-hour time frame to put their offer directly onto our website. If I get a full price offer, so I put out a property for $100,000 and I got a full $100,000 offer, I cancel the email blast to the cash buyers, right? Because I've already worked with them. I know what they're doing, but I'll hold it. And I'll hold it for an hour and a half for any other VIP buyers to put their offer in. Right now, I'm selling 60% of those deals just to those buyers. So what?
Yeah, and I think it's a mutually beneficial relationship between you and them. Like, you have a proven commodity, so why would you risk, somebody else? And, there's a loyalty factor coming from the VIP buyers, right? So it's a really good mutual relationship.
And I think that's how we work, and getting buyers that you guys have already dealt with and you guys already know in the area is going to be the strength, that's going to move us forward into this new area. Plus, I mean, we've done a lot of cold calling and things like that, but those connections that we have is what's going to really move forward in the beginning.
That sounds good. I love it. So we're excited to have you guys in the market. I think anytime you have a wholesaler in the market place is really good for all investors, honestly. Mm-hmm. So I've been scrolling the name of the where everybody can go. If you want to be a buyer, inquire about the VIP list, whatever. Marketprodeals.com is the site that people would go to. Mm-hmm. Do you want people to have your contact information or just have them go right to the site?
You know what? They can go to the site, and as long as they choose PA, they'll be able to get a call back from Tammy, and she's the one that's going to be taking. I mean, we're kind of working together right now. I'm on calls with her. She's on calls with me. And, we also have Calendly set up. So if somebody really wanted to do like a really in-depth 20-minute phone call, happy to do it. I do it with new buyers all the time. And my Calendly is set up on the website. And if it's a PA buyer, what I'll do is I'll just conference in Tammy as well. So, as we appreciate all the help as we're making this transition. We just sent out a mailer. We've already got some appointments booked for this week. We've got our sales guy on team, and, it's all new and exciting. But any link, feel free to reach out to me, and I can conference in anybody, as I always do, Zoom or whatever. with any new buyers who would like as much information as possible.
Sounds good. Open door policy. I will. Let's leave it there. I think it was a great interview. I think it's a great introduction for you guys coming in. A lot of people are going to see this presentation and know, start to really hear your name coming around town. And I'm happily do a follow up as you penetrate this market. That's pretty much it. So marketprodeals.com is where people will go, and we will be in touch on it.
Thanks. It was great to meet you guys, and looking forward to all that great new business in PA.
Absolutely. Sounds good, Lisa. All right, take care.
All
right, bye-bye.
Bye.